Hi, everybody. This is part two of the balance sheet video, and this is where we actually do the guided practice around how to actually create our balance sheet. So, to start off with, we have kind of two parts to this exercise. The first one is recognizing that these are all of our accounts, and so before we do anything with them, we're going to have to kind of think about them a little bit, organize them a little bit. And then down here below, we have our balance sheet template that we're going to list everything, in which we're going to list everything. So the first thing we're going to do then is we're going to identify what kind of accounts these are. There's lots of analysis that has to be done in accounting. So we're going to kind of start off thinking about that. So first of all, going through the accounts, we're going to list each of these by type. So are they assets, liabilities, or owner's equity? And so going through this list, and you should do this as well in your work. Cash is an asset account. Um, our accounts receivable is also an asset account. So yeah, for both of those. And next we have office supplies, which is also an asset. And we have our office equipment, again, something we can buy, sell, trade, own. So that is an asset. Next, we have our building. So the value of our building, this is also an asset, so we can list that accordingly. Obviously, the bank loan next that we have is an amount of money that we owe to somebody that therefore becomes a liability. And then our accounts payable are also liabilities. Whenever we see this configuration, this is a very specific configuration here. When you see the name of the owner, comma capital, that is the owner's equity. So that's the value of the owner's investment or residual value. It is always written this way. So the first initial dot or period, last name, comma, capital. Very, very specific. And we're going to put an OE next to that as owner's equity. Now, before we can kind of go on, we need to, as it sort of says here, we don't know the value of this, whereas we know the values of all these other things. So we're going to have to do a little bit of math. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to use the magic of Excel, and I'm going to figure this out using this. So we have $2,500 worth of cash. We have accounts receivable for $1,500. Another one for $500. Office supplies worth $5,000. Office equipment worth $25,500. Our building worth $30,000, and that's the end of those, right? Now, we should make sure, it's kind of interesting, this comma kind of popped up on that one. We should make sure that we are formatting these all consistently. So since we all have round numbers, there's no sense. I'm not going to worry about having decimal places, but I do want them all to be, sorry, commas, not percentages. So I'm going to go up to my my customization pane up here, and so I'm going to change that to commas, and then I want no decimal places, so I'm going to remove those. Okay. Then going back to bank loan now, so I have $33,500 for that. I have $400 for my first account payable and $1,600 for the second one. This last number here, this is the one I want to know the answer to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to know the total of all of my assets down to here. So all the total of that number. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to equals sum, open my bracket, arrow over to the 30, press my shift key and hold it down, and I'm going to arrow up to the 25, still holding my shift, close the bracket, and press enter. So if I want to see my work, I can now press F2, and that shows me a color-coded version of what I've done. So that is all of my assets. That's what I need to know. So now I can move on. I'm going to do the same thing with my liabilities. So equal sum, shift, open the bracket, take my finger off the shift key, arrow over to 1600, shift down and hold it to 33,500, hold the shift down and close my bracket, press enter. So again, I can hit my F2 key to see what I want to do, what I've done. And down here for my capital, what this is the difference or the subtraction of my 65,000 in assets minus the 35,500 in liabilities. So we're just kind of turning our fundamental accounting equation around a little bit. So usually it's asset equals liability plus OE. In this case, we are calculating OE equals A minus L. Okay. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit equals. So that tells the sheets that I'm doing a math function. I'm going to arrow over to the big number, hit the minus key, and I'm going to arrow over to my smaller number and hit enter. And again, I can press F2 and it will show me the math that I've done. So the blue box N12 minus the red box N15. So now I know that my total owner's equity is going to be 29,500. So that ends the first part of this activity.